All right, what's up, everyone? It's me, Drew, your host of the new Fit to Fat to Fit Experience podcast. As many of you know, I've been taking a break from podcasting. My last episode that I just put out talked about why I took a break and why I decided to come back to podcasting. So I am back. I am here. I am doing podcasts, but I'm doing them my way moving forward, the way I want to do them versus being a slave to them where I had to take a break because they were starting to become a chore for me, and I wasn't passionate about the way it was structured before. So I switched up the structure a little bit. I'm only talking about things that are important to me and matter to me. So today's episode, I'm going to be mostly just doing solo casts, and unless I find someone that's super interesting that I just absolutely love their story, that I will bring them on. But some of it for now will just be me solo casting, talking about topics that interest me, that are super important to me. And so today's episode is talking about the 5 pillars of health. And, some of these are things, some of these are certain topics that aren't discussed in the health and fitness industry that I think have a valuable place in your health and fitness journey that I'll tell you why. So we're going to be talking about the 5 pillars of health and why these 5 pillars are so important, and the basics of each one of them and what they entail. And I'll be diving into all of that in today's episode. Before we dive in, though, a quick little shout out to our show sponsors. So, first of all, this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Caldera Lab. Now, Caldera Lab is a men's face care company, and I was first introduced to them by seeing their ads, to be honest with you, with celebrities, male celebrities, and influencers and people that I know and trust in the industry, that I'm like, oh, I see all of these people promoting this product. But here's the thing. Here's a little bit of the backstory about my history using new face care products. There's a ton out there. I've always been hesitant because every single one of them that I've tried in the past always caused me to break out. I've like to pride myself a little bit that I have good, decent skin as a man. At least that's what I've been told by other women, that I have really decent skin. So I'm very hesitant to dive into a new product, but I was open to trying it out. And I told them, like, hey, here's my hesitation. Here's my skepticism about using new products. So I use their face wash, I use their face cream and their night serum and their under eye cream as well. And this was the first new face care product that did not cause me to break out. And in fact, I had lots of people telling me how my skin was glowing and how my skin looked great. And so I'll be totally honest with you guys, Caldera Lab is the first men's face care product line that I've used in the past probably 10 years that has done wonders for my face. It does not get rid of wrinkles completely. It does not make you look 30 when you're 40, but I am 42 years old. And I would say about 90% of the time people are surprised that I am 42. I'm in my 40s, but I am 42. I do notice a difference in the way my wrinkles appear on my face and my under eyes, under my bags and wrinkles. I have noticed a difference using the product, and it's super simple because I think guys need simplicity. It's just a face wash, a face lotion, and then the under eye cream you put under your eyes like this. And then at nighttime, I put on the oil, the serum at night, and it does wonders for my face, and I'm a huge fan. So if you want to give it a try, if you're a guy or a lady out there that wants to get it for your guy, go to Caldera Lab, CalDeraLab.com, and use the code FIT to FAT to fit with the number 2 in between. That will get you 20% off of their products. Give it a try for 30 days. Let me know what you think. I'm a huge fan. I know a lot of other people that use this product and swear by it, and I'm all about taking care of my skin as I age into my 40s and older. So give it a try and let me know what you guys think. This episode is also brought to you by Complete Wellness, so here's the thing. Complete Wellness is my supplement company. I've had it for years, but we recently, within the past 6 months, had to do a revamp of all the products. It's a long story, but the company almost went under. The only way to salvage the company was by switching over to a new manufacturer where we were able to white label a lot of their existing products. And the reason I switched over is because I know the owners personally. They're some of my best friends. I know their integrity, and I know their ethics and their morals, and they're the types of people that I want to align myself with. And so all the products, so Complete Wellness is based on 3 things: quality of the ingredients, okay, affordability, so cost can't be too expensive, and they actually have to taste really, really good. All of our products taste amazing, super high quality ingredients. I'm a huge fan of the white label formulas that they offer to me, and I'm the affordability. You'll see the price when you go to CompleteWellness.com. Check out our prices, compare it to competitors. I think you'll be very happy with how competitively priced our products are, and they freaking taste amazing. So go to CompleteWellness.com. Check out our full lineup of products, from protein meal replacements. We also have nitric oxide boosters, greens powders. We have collagen protein, flavored and unflavored. We have digestive enzymes. We have anti-cellulite products. We have sleep products, vitamin D, probiotics, and many, many more. Just go to CompleteWellness.com. And thank you guys for tuning in. Let's jump into today's episode. Okay, so obviously you guys know I work in the health and fitness industry, but hopefully you know me well enough to know that I understand that physical transformation is way more mental and emotional than people think, which is why I talk all the time when I'm working with a one-on-one client. I talk all the time about these 5 pillars of health. And if you just focus on these 5 pillars of health, you will feel so much better about your life, because your sleep will be better, your digestion will be better, your skin will be better, you'll have more energy, you'll be in a better mood, because these 5 pillars of health are very basic, okay? But they're also very effective and very impactful. And I think some people try and skip over some of these. And what happens is they end up sacrificing their health to gain a certain aesthetic, a certain look with their body. And what happens is they end up ruining their health when they don't focus on these 5 pillars. So if you don't have these 5 pillars down and under control, then it's going to be really hard to have good physical health, which is going to be very hard to have good mental, emotional, and spiritual health. To be totally honest with you, talk to anyone that's suffering from a disease or some type of physical ailment. It's really hard to be happy. It's really hard to be present. It's really hard to be there for your kids, for your spouses, for important relationships in your life, if your physical health is suffering. And so the reason why I want to talk about these 5 pillars of health is because they're so important and impactful that sometimes we lose sight of these things. We lose sight of health and longevity while we're on this journey of like wanting to look ripped or wanting to look shredded or wanting to look skinny. We think if we could just sacrifice our health to look a certain way, it'll be worth it. And sure, there's the nutty professor effect where you take a pill, you look a certain way. Who cares about your health, right? That's the whole premise behind Ozempic and these weight loss drugs, is people will take them because they don't care if it has side effects. They don't care if it makes them feel crappy. They are willing to sacrifice their health in order to gain a body that they think will make them happier. And so, but I want to focus on these 5 pillars of health because this is what I do when I work with clients. It's like, hey, you want to be healthy and you also want to look good. This is the way to do it. Okay. So the first and most important pillar, in my opinion, is probably sleep. I think sleep is the ultimate biohack. It's the ultimate weight loss drug. It's the ultimate nootropic brain pill, if you will. It's the ultimate fat loss. It's the ultimate way to lose fat is by getting efficient sleep first and foremost. So I tell people, sleep like you're getting paid to do it. If you got paid a full-time salary just to sleep as efficiently as possible, what would you change about your sleep routine at night? What would you change about your approach? And I think that's an important question to ask, so you understand, like, okay, if I got paid a full-time salary, let's say it was like $75,000 a year, just to sleep as efficiently as possible, what would you do? Maybe you would purchase some blackout blinds. Maybe you would lower the temperature in your room to 65 degrees. Maybe you would stop using electronics an hour before bed or wear blue light blocker glasses. Maybe you would do certain things at nighttime. You would, instead of being on a screen, you would be reading a book. Maybe you would be on top of your supplementation. Maybe you would go out in the sun first thing in the morning and get some daylight in your eyes and reset your circadian rhythm. Maybe you would take things more seriously. So that's the first thing. The other thing is I have a 12-3-2-1 rule. Okay. And so this is something that maybe you've heard of before, but this is a 12-3-2-1 rule. And this is just something that I've kind of like customized over the years as I work with clients. 12-3-2-3-2-1 rule is this. The 12 is cutting off caffeine at 12 p.m., noon o'clock. I almost said noon o'clock. At noon is your cutoff for caffeine. Now, here's the thing. I know people that can drink caffeine before bed and sleep through the night. Most people caffeine has, I think, a 4 or 5 hour half-life, where let's say you drink 100 milligrams, 4 or 5 hours later, you'll have 50 milligrams still in your system. 4 or 5 hours later, you'll have 25, right? It's cut in half every 4 to 5 hours. So this is why I like to cut off any caffeine by noon if you want to sleep effectively at nighttime. So no late afternoon coffee or energy drinks to keep you going throughout the day. All my clients, I tell them your cutoff for caffeine intake is noon. So that's the 12. The 3 is 3 hours before bedtime. Cut off any food. Here's the thing. When you eat food, a big heavy meal before bed within that 3-hour window, it can affect your sleep cycle. It can lead to indigestion. It could lead to blood sugar spikes and drops. And I've tested this out many times. I sleep horribly, and I track it using my Whoop device, right? Because it tracks my HRV, tracks my my heart rate variability. Or sorry, yeah, HRV is heart rate variability. Sorry, it tracks my resting heart rate, my heart rate variability. It tracks my REM sleep, my light, my deep sleep. It tracks all of that. And every single time I have a big heavy meal right before bed, which I've done plenty of times, knowing the effects of it, it always affects my sleep negatively. Same thing with alcohol. I know for a fact if I drink alcohol, the cost of that drinking of the alcohol is going to cost me efficient sleep. And so this is why, cutting off food 3 hours before bedtime is something I have all my clients do, and they sleep so much better throughout the night. And I do as well. So 3 hours before bed, no food. 2 hours before bed. So the 3-2 is 2 hours before bed, no liquids. Or if you are going to drink some liquids, very minimal, maybe a couple sips here and there. But if you're waking up in the middle of the night to go pee, then cut off any kind of liquid intake 2 hours before bed. So you're not waking up in the middle of the night. Even though you're able to go back to sleep, some people are, I'm not. If you wake up to go pee, it does disrupt your sleep pattern and your sleep cycle, and it leads to less effective sleep. Okay. 1 hour before bed is the no electronics. The blue light that's emitted from TVs, laptops, phones signals your brain that it's still daytime, and it blunts your melatonin production at nighttime. And this is why it's so important to cut off the screen time an hour before bed, or wear blue light blocker glasses at the very least to block that blue light. And that's kind of the beauty of these blue light blocker glasses. But ultimately, it would be optimal to cut off any kind of screen time an hour before bed, even with the blue light blocker glasses. Okay. And if you really want to take your sleep seriously, the 12-3-2-1 rule is optimal for better sleep. Just being totally honest with you. You can look up studies on this. There is science to back this up, and it's just a simple thing to follow. 12-3-2-1. 12, no caffeine past noon. No food 3 hours before bed, no liquids 2 hours before bed, no screen time an hour before bed. Give it a try for 30 days and let me know what changes in your sleep patterns. I would love to hear. The next pillar is going to be stress management. Now, you're probably wondering, Drew, these two things aren't going to get me a six-pack. These two things aren't going to get me the body of my dreams, right? If you sleep 8 hours a night, perfect sleep, you're not going to wake up with a six-pack by any means. But these are like the foundations. These are the base. You can get a six-pack not sleeping well through the night. You can get a six-pack with super high stress levels, but your health is going to take a hit. There's a difference between health and aesthetics. So yes, you can get the body, right, with sacrificing your sleep and not caring about your stress and having super high stress. You can still do it, but it's probably not going to be as fulfilling. You're not going to feel as great. You're not going to have as good of energy, mental energy, and all kinds of other health markers, I would say, that are important when it comes to health and longevity. So stress management, the reason this is in there is because if you have constantly elevated cortisol levels all day long, that can lead to some serious health ramifications in the long run. Because if one hormone is like cortisol is disrupted in an unnatural state where it's constantly elevated all day long, and you're in a high stress environment all day long, that affects your other hormones and the way that they operate. And it can cause a cascade of negative effects for your health. And this is why it's important to find tools that help you manage your stress. That looks different for each person. For me personally, meditation, journaling, getting out in nature, movement, walking, yoga, exercising helps me manage my stress, going in the ocean, breath work. These are all tools that help me lower my cortisol levels, reduce my stress, so I can be more present when it comes to the food that I'm eating. So I can be more present when it comes to that mind muscle connection when I'm exercising. So I can be more present when I'm with my kids or with, friends or family, my relationships that are important to me in my life. Versus if you're high stress all the time, guess what's going to happen when you have a choice between pizza and ice cream and chicken and broccoli? Most people, when they're high stress, they're going to reach for something that's going to bring comfort because we are biologically engineered to seek comfort. And what brings comfort? Comfort foods bring temporary comfort. So, this is why it's so important to have other healthy tools to help manage stress versus the unhealthy tools like food, drugs, alcohol, which also do help reduce stress temporarily, only to cause a vicious cycle where you become dependent on that thing, and that unhealthy vice or tool that you're using is going to be an unhealthy escape over and over again. So finding healthier sources to reduce stress, like meditation, breath work, getting out in nature, movement of some type, those types of things are healthier escapes, if you will, or healthier tools to help manage your stress so that you're not as reactive, so that you're not running on autopilot all the time, so you can be more present and make more, you know, conscious decisions for improving your health. Because when you're less stressed, it's easier to eat the meal prepped food, the chicken and the broccoli, versus when you're high stress and you're high stress all day long, your fuse to handle that stress is severely shortened if you can't learn how to manage your stress. And this is why physical transformation is more emotional for people, because we're emotional creatures. We're not robots. So even if I give you macros to follow and workouts to do, and it's kind of robotic, as a human, you're going to have emotions that will put you through a roller coaster, where when you're going through the roller coaster of emotions and you're triggered by your kids or your spouse or your finances or work, it's so much easier to gravitate towards the subconscious mind that says, hey, take a break. Hey, eat the ice cream. Hey, drink the alcohol because you deserve it. You've had a stressful day. And this is the thing that brings that temporary, stress, or temporarily relief. It gives you that temporary relief from the stress. And then it creates a vicious cycle of dependency on that substance. So this is why it's important to manage your stress on a physical fitness journey. So that's number 2. Number 3 is going to be nutrition. Nutrition is way more important, in my opinion, than exercise when it comes to actually seeing results. Because if you are eating a bunch of junk food, even if you're exercising all the time, your health will take a hit. If you're running off of processed junk food carbohydrates like Pop-Tarts and cereal and soda and Gushers and crumble cookie, and I love all these foods, by the way. I've done Fit to Fat to Fit twice now, so these foods are very tempting to me. But if you're eating those foods the majority of the time, most likely your digestion is going to be off, your sleep is going to be off, your hormones will probably be off as well. It's not the healthiest things to feed or fuel your system with is these highly processed junk food types of carbohydrates that we have access to that are super cheap and affordable. They're very convenient and they freaking taste amazing. I'm not gonna lie, I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So good when it touches the lips. You guys know what I'm talking about. So eating real whole food, I don't care which diet you follow, keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, I don't care. Stick with whole foods. I think that all of us can agree, no matter which camp you come from when it comes to nutritional camps or religions, whatever you want to call it, we all can agree that sticking with real whole foods is the way to go for optimal health. You can still get a six-pack eating junk food. You can get a six-pack eating 1,000 calories of donuts. Yes, but that probably isn't going to lead to better overall health markers by eating that food. Just saying, your performance, you are what you eat. And I think all of us know that if you want to be an athlete, you want to perform at a certain level, eating certain foods are going to help you achieve that. I mean, I think all of us can agree on that, right? So nutrition, eating nutrient dense, healthy, whole foods. And the other thing that I'll throw in there that's give you the most bang for your buck is high quality protein. I'm a huge fan of having my clients aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, because the more protein you eat, the more satiated you'll be, which means the less snacky you'll be throughout the day, which we tend to snack on junk food, crappy, processed carbohydrates. But when you're full, if you eat 2 chicken breasts and a can of tuna and a protein shake, and you have 100 grams of protein, your likelihood of snacking on Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Oreos after that, good luck. You're going to feel so full for so long eating that much protein. There's not going to be room left in you to fit in a whole lot else. And guess what? That 100 grams of protein is only 400 calories. So it's not a lot of calories for feeling satiated, versus if you ate 400 calories of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, you're going to feel full, but it's not going to last all day, right? It's not going to last probably longer than a couple hours. And I've tested that out on my own body, versus 400 calories of some high quality protein. You're going to feel pretty freaking full. And this is why it's so important to get high quality protein. So if you're going to eat real whole food, okay, stick with a high protein diet. You'll probably see better results with your body composition and weight loss and fat loss and all that stuff, sticking to that. So that's the third pillar. The next pillar is going to be exercise. But when I say exercise, what I really mean is movement. Because at the end of the day, if you're moving your body, whether it's walking, dancing, yoga, Pilates, hiking, biking, swimming, pickleball, I don't care what movement it is. If you have these 4 pillars under control, you're getting 8 hours of quality sleep, you're managing your stress, you're eating real whole food, and you're moving your body every single day, like, not just for 30 minutes or 60 minutes, but you're walking, you're taking the stairs, you're parking further away from at the grocery store, you're doing laundry, you're, playing with your kids, you're, getting some type of movement. I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you have extra body fat on your body. Because at the end of the day, most likely, if you have those 4 pillars of health under control, and those are something that you do that are non-negotiables for you, that you live consistently, most likely you're going to be thinner or leaner, and most likely you're going to feel better health-wise. Your health markers will probably be good. Even if you overeat the broccoli and the cauliflower and the chicken, if you overeat that food, it's not going to be the same as you overeating processed junk food and not moving your body and sleeping horrible and having a high stress life. You're going to feel a ton better. Probably your health will be a lot better than if you don't have those 4 pillars under control. And so this is why I don't care if you have 10% body fat. I don't care if you have, 5% body fat. If you're sleeping horribly through the night and you are eating a bunch of junk food, most likely you're not going to feel your best. You're not going to be able to perform your best. And this is why there's a difference between health and aesthetics. And I preach this over and over and over again. As a society, there's a lot of pressure to focus on the aesthetics and, oh, that person's healthy because they have a 6-pack. That's not always the case. Okay. And I think as you get older, you become wiser. You start to realize that, like, oh, it's not about looks. It's about being healthy for my kids, for my grandkids, for being able to move my body, like being able to, like, I was just in Europe and walking around pretty much all day long. And there's so many people that, because of their health, they can't walk for hours a day. It's like too much for them. It's too uncomfortable because they have gotten so used to a sedentary lifestyle. And there's so much of this world to see, especially in Europe, that if you can't walk around, it's going to be a lot harder to enjoy those types of moments, or going on a hike, right? So those are the 4 pillars of health that I focus on. And then the 5th pillar is really something that no one talks about because it's overlooked, because people think, well, yes, that's important too. But there is a very, very famous study talking about what factors are important for longevity. And that is the 5th. So the 5th pillar is relationships. Loving relationships are super important, because you could be the healthiest person in the world, getting sleep, doing all the biohacking, managing your stress, meditating, eating healthy food, exercising. But if you're isolated and you don't have loving relationships, then those other 4 pillars are kind of they're not as impactful as you might think when it comes to living a long, healthy life, because you need, on top of all that, loving relationships, friends, family, loved ones, connection, being a part of a tribe. As a human, we need that. And like I said, there's a famous study. I don't know the name of the study off the top of my head, but it is a famous study talking about why those who have loving relationships tend to live the longest. And I find that very true in my life. And so I know a lot of people are big into biohacking, big into like, splitting hairs between like, oh, should I touch my receipts or should I not touch my receipts? Should I wear blue light blocker glasses? Should I not? Should I, you know, um, have seed oils or should I not? Like, there's all these little things that are important for your health, but they're kind of blown out of proportion as if this is the end all be all. But a lot of people are super isolated these days with social media, and they don't have true, meaningful connection and relationships. And it's hard to be happy if you don't have that, even if you have your health. And so that's why I included that one as the fifth pillar. And it's something that's super important. And I think there's value in making that a priority. Like, if you had to pick between going to the gym that day and maybe going out with friends, maybe it's okay to skip the gym every once in a while and hang out with your kids or hang out with your spouse or go on a date or, see your family from time to time. I'm not saying that needs to be the new priority, but you need to make time for loving relationships in your life, um, because it doesn't do you any good to do the other four pillars, go live in a cave, stay away from people, and be super lonely and sad, because that'll kill you faster than these other things that we've talked about. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents. A lot of this is opinion based, but I think there is science to back these things up. You can look it up yourself. This is not a sciencey type of podcast. This is just me speaking from experience and, doing my own research. But I think most people out there would agree that these 5 pillars of health are super important for health, and that there is a difference between health and aesthetics and our physical looks. So on your journey, what I recommend is, let's say your life is chaotic right now. Let's say you're trying to follow a program. Like, I coach a lot of clients and I give them a program. Here's your macros, here's your calories, here's your workouts, here's your step goal, here's your water goal, here's your goals, here's your checklist of things to do. And sometimes some of them have a million kids, they have a stressful job, they have an unsupportive spouse, and they're trying to do all the things, but they have a certain breaking point, and they realize that doing the checklist of things, the fast track that I gave them to achieve the results, is causing more stress to follow that program than to not do it. And so they end up giving up, and they end up throwing in the towel and saying, I fell off the wagon. It's unsustainable for me right now. So I try and meet them where they're at and say, okay, take all this out of it for a second. Take the program, take the macros out, take the calories, take the workouts, and let's just focus on those 5 pillars of health. Focus on sleep as best you can. Find tools that help you manage your stress. I don't care about you following your macros. Eat real food. Eat real food as much as you can, even when you're super stressed out and you're binging on, you know, chunks of steak. I don't I don't care. If you're eating real food, you're most likely not going to overeat versus if you're eating processed junk food. And then moving your body. Like, you don't have to do the hardcore workouts. You don't have to do the resistance training. That's going to be more bang for your buck for sure. It's going to accelerate your journey to get the results that you want to get. But that doesn't mean that you need to neglect your health completely and just focus on those 5 pillars of health. Take all the specific metrics out of it for a second and just do those things. And I promise you, you will still feel better. You might not look the way you want to look. You might not get the results that you're hoping for in the amount of time that you want, but there is value in following those 5 pillars of health, regardless of what your body looks like. And you'll find that super valuable and vital in your journey. If maybe right now is not the time to put the pedal to the metal and go full throttle with, this type of a program, where it can be a lot for some people, and I can empathize with people in their life. And, maybe after a season or two, they can turn up the dial a little bit, put the gas pedal down a little bit more, and be like, all right, let's get back on track with the fast track that Drew gave me. And that will always be there. Even for me, I have slow phases in my life. Like right now, I can't work out for a month because of my hair transplant, which I talked about on the last podcast. And because of that, I'm in a place where the pedal isn't touching the metal. It's taken off, but not completely. I'm just not as hardcore about following my workouts and following my diet right now because I just came back from 2.5 weeks in Europe where I enjoyed all the food. And yes, I'm softer. I'm not as ripped or really as lean as I normally am. But I know that this is a temporary phase. And I've reminded people this time and time again. Your current situation is not your final destination. And um, and so even for me, I have to go through these phases where I'm not 10% body fat. I'm not as lean as I normally am. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with it being the way it is because I know it's temporary and I'm not always going to be stuck here. I will get back to working out. I will get back to resistance training. I will get back to being consistent with my diet. And those results, like the normal body you see me in, that will eventually come back because I know and trust the process. And you can trust the process as well. So, anyways, I want to give you permission to know that it doesn't need to be an all or nothing mentality. You can still focus on your health while you're trying to achieve a better looking body because, I get it. We live in this type of world where people want to look a certain way because this is our like avatar that we have that we've been given and we want it to look a certain way. We all do things to, you know, change our avatar to fit in, to look differently, to look the way we want to be represented in this world or looked at in this world. So we do our hair, we do our makeup, we shower, we shave, we dress a certain way. Some of us do Botox or filler or plastic surgery or hair transplant surgery or, wear shoes that make us taller or whatever it is. We all are trying to manipulate and customize our avatars every single day. And that's okay. But don't let that consume you. Don't let that become your identity because you are more than your body. Okay, we're done with this episode. Let me know what you guys think about it. I'm open to thoughts and feedback and anything else you guys want to contribute. I'm back though with the podcasting. Thank you guys for being here and for listening. And there's a lot more to come. So thank you guys for your patience. I look forward to connecting with you guys with this new format of the podcast. Let me know what you think. And just one last quick reminder, please, if you guys don't mind, showing the show sponsors, Caldera Lab and Complete Wellness, some love, because that is a way that I can maintain doing this podcasting because there is a monetary aspect to what I do, right? Like I do have to pay the bills. I do have to feed my daughters and live. And so this is one of the ways I do that by providing you guys with really cool sponsors that I love, that I actually use. And I'm a big fan of the products that I promote on here. Complete Wellness is obviously my company, so I'm going to promote that. And then every once in a while, I'll find a company like Caldera Lab that I think is worth the money and worth looking into at least, and go check them out. If you guys think it's a good fit for you, if it fits your budget, and you want to save, some money on these products that you think might fit into your lifestyle, then yes, please support my podcast by going to check out the sponsors. And I appreciate you guys just being here. I'm not a salesman, not a high pressure type of dude. But yeah, if you guys want to go check it out, I would appreciate that. And that allows me to do more of what this is and hopefully provide you guys value. So much love, respect, and aloha, and we'll talk to you soon.